You know, sometimes I like to make critical analysis videos deconstructing complex themes using vast amounts of literary and artistic evidence, and sometimes I just want to gush about my waifu. This is one of those videos. Okay, so, my introduction to Big City Greens is kinda funky. I only heard about this cartoon when they did a Team Rocket parody one time, and I was legally obligated to do a video about it. But after watching the episode in question, I realized that the cartoon itself is actually a hell of a lot of fun. A family from the country that aren't your stereotypical hillbillies moving to the literal big city and the culture clash adventures therein? That's a boss-ass premise right there. So I started watching this show from the beginning, found myself enjoying the visual humor and slice-of-life format, but early on in my run, I found myself falling in love with this one character in particular. I mean, it's in the title, so I'm not really sure why I'm trying to, build up the suspense or whatever, but yes. Ladies and gentle dudes, meet Gloria Sato. This young lady who is perfect in every way is one of the show's main side characters, who works as a beleaguered barista and is constantly goofed on by the Greens. That's the name of the family. Anyway, Gloria is a 20-something chick working a minimum wage food service job and is trying to make something out of her life without falling into paralyzing depression. And Oh wait, Gloria's not in high school? Huh? Oh, no, she's 23, 24-ish. But she's a grown-up. Shouldn't she be financially stable, working her dream job, and married to the perfect man by now, like in all the other Disney properties? Well, things didn't really pan out that way. Sure, Gloria had goals, but various circumstances kept her from actually achieving them. And right now, she's just trying her very hardest to get her life together. Oh, I get it. So it's her fault. But yeah, in a nutshell, Gloria is a millennial. And not like how boomers think millennials are, but more like how millennials actually are. And I guess the best way to illustrate that is to just give a full character history about this new girl that I'm totally in love with. Okay, so, we don't really know much about how Gloria was as a kid, other than that she apparently had her first panic attack in grade school. But we do know that she enrolled into an undisclosed college after high school. As for what her major was, we can surmise based off her hobbies that she pursued a very useful and totally worthwhile art degree. By the time she graduated, Gloria told her folks what her big game plan was. She was gonna move to the big city and make a successful living as a, God forbid, freelance illustrator. I mean, not that I've ever tried doing that myself, or anything. And her big ultimate goal is to live the high life out in Paris, France. And I'm like, do people still have this, super romanticized view about France or something? Gloria, my dude, France is not as sexy as you think it is. Ratatouille fucking lied to you, girl. Paris is just another semi-metropolis city filled with bad smells and overpriced food like you can find anywhere in the US. Why don't you go to somewhere like Canada where nothing bad ever happens? Anyway, suffice to say, things did not pan out that way, and she was forced to take a job at a Starbucks ripoff to pay her rent. And that takes us to the beginning of the series. So, the Green's little turd of a son named Cricket tries to shoot a chicken into the stratosphere, which lands in the cafe Gloria works at, which is coincidentally right next door. Gloria tells Papa Green that his son is a terrible person and he should feel bad for having conceived him, and thus starts the love-hate dynamic between Gloria and the Greens. Couple episodes later, Cricket and partially Gloria fuck up the coffee place with a game of uncopyrighted kickball, and Cricket has a temporary moral compass where he takes the blame and earns himself brownie points with Big G here. Unfortunately, child labor laws apparently don't exist in this universe because Cricket now has to work at the cafe to pay off his debt, which means work buddies! Now, obviously Gloria's opinion of him doesn't stick because Cricket continues to be rude as hell during their shifts. Like that one episode where Cricket commits the gravest sin of all humankind by taking his 15-minute during the lunch rush, leaving poor Gloria to the wolves. He does let Gloria see her first parade at the end though, so all is forgiven? So yeah, at this point, we can ascertain that while Gloria is stressed as all fuck, she's also weak to small acts of kindness. But we don't really learn our first major trivia about Gloria until the Paint Misbehavin' episode. Now, as I alluded before, this is where we learn that Gloria is one of those aspiring artist types, who can actually do really great work, but can't sell herself for shit. which again, I know nothing about. So she has to settle for hanging her artwork in the cafe, but for some reason it only gets recognized when Cricket doodle bombs them. As a result, she tries to do a collab with Cricket so she can get her work shown at an art show hosted by Rushy McRussian, but because she didn't bother drawing up a project contract, Cricket ends up taking all the credit. So, Gloria shows up to the art exhibit looking hella fine so she can laugh at Cricket's eventual failure. He learns a lesson, they make up, get wasted and ruin everybody's work, and get their asses kicked out. Anyway, we also learn a few other interesting tidbits about Miss Gloria Sato. Like that she gets additional income doing what every attractive 20-something city girl does for fast cash. Airbnb. And that she's been Employee of the Month for 3 times in a row, which sadly she views as a personal accomplishment. But then shit gets real in the episode Coffee Quest. Long story short, Gloria and Cricket need to secure the last bag of coffee beans in the city to pay out Cricket's debt, a Whole Foods CEO by the name of Chip Whistler tries to ruin their fun, and they try to hide out in Gloria's dingy little apartment. And it's here where Cricket's like, damn girl, you're a Starbucks barista. Why don't you just buy like a 2-story condo or something? And she's like, because I'm a worthless schmuck from the burbs, and I thought moving to the city would make me hot shit, but it only aggravated my crippling imposter syndrome. So they get the coffee beans, and when the creepy 30-something Whole Foods CEO tries to hit on Gloria, she proves herself to be a real city girl by whooping his crusty ass. It's pretty fucking awesome. Anyway, Cricket's debt is finally paid off, but Gloria damages the cafe again so Cricket can keep working there, because friendship or something. Gloria, you know the kid lives right next door, right? You could easily hang out with the guy just by having him come during your shift, or just visit each other outside of work or something. You had nothing to gain and a lot more to lose by extending his debt. I know thinking 2 steps ahead isn't really your thing, but just, future reference. So yeah, Gloria eases up a tad after all that. She performs some beat poetry about working retail that no one gives a shit about, and we learn that she has a crush on some dude named Kevin, which we don't actually get to see, but this is a cartoon, so he's probably an asshole. But she ends up getting stood up, I think. So she ends up dancing with Cricket, and I know, FBI, open up, and all that. A skunk nearly sprays her, and Season 1 comes to a close. Then Season 2 comes along and makes the best decision ever by slowly uplifting Gloria into main character status. So, because imposter syndrome doesn't magically fix itself after 1 season of development, Gloria decides to leave Big City and move back in with her folks, but ends up getting swooped up into a locked elevator with, you guessed it, the Greens. Eventually she fesses up and reveals that she's been living in the same shitty apartment, working the same shitty retail job for 3 fucking years, and has made absolutely no progress whatsoever without any sort of support system, and that she's a failure and a disappointment and she's gonna die alone and... What was I talking about again? Anyways, the Greens are like, girl, we got your back. And Gloria decides to stay. From there on, more shenanigans. Gloria takes a job as Santa's elf, she tries to make friends with 3 differently spelled Caitlins at this all-age nightclub, but settles for Tilly, Cricket's adorable sister, and her conspiracy theorist friend, and she counterpranks Cricket into delivering 91 lattes on a bogus order. We also get another glimpse of Gloria's wonderfully sound personal financial habits when she invests her rent money into Cricket's pyramid/Ponzi scheme. Obviously her stock ain't worth shit, and she straight up tries to commit a totally justified murder of a 10-year-old boy. But they do get her money back, so, homicide averted. But then Gloria's life goes straight down the pooper. That capitalist dude from Whole Foods is back, and this time his evil plot is to buy out the coffee place, shut it down, and kick out the Greens to make room for a super Whole Foods. Obviously, this leaves Gloria without a job, so she does the only logical thing. Sell out, get a job at this douchebag's new store, and sever all her friendships. Now, of course, she comes around at the end and helps Cricket discover Chip's immoral business practices, which results in him getting held accountable for his actions and shutting down the store. Fake cartoon logic. Sadly, Gloria finally hits rock bottom, because no store equals no job equals no money equals apartment eviction equals legally homeless equals forced to live with the Green family. Yeah, shit's not looking good, is it? So Gloria takes up refuge in their basement and spends the next week painting away any suicidal urges that may have festered since becoming a hikikomori. But then she's forced to snap back to reality when her parents decide to drop by to see how she's doing after comparing her to her house-buying cousin Emily, even though comparing your child's worth to a more successful family member is fucking demoralizing and among the worst things a parent can do for their child's self-esteem, and if they would just stop belittling her efforts and... I'm good. Anyway, Gloria pulls a fake on her parents by pretending she owns the Green's house along with Cricket's rich friend's mansion, and this sitcom plot almost freaking works. But then, her parents say, "We can finally brag about our daughter." Hold up, are you saying you were never proud of me before? Well, did I only matter to you when I started being financially successful? Well, no, but you never really told us what you were doing. You just shut yourself off and stopped communicating with us. That's because you don't actually care. You just passively aggressively tell me to get a real job and talk about how inadequate I am compared to my cousin. We just don't want to see you struggle to make a living. Yeah, we thought pushing you into something more stable would alleviate your financial stress. But then I'm more stressed because I'll be forcing myself into a career I have no passion for, which limits my growth opportunities, which means I'll never be successful anyway. Well, you sure proved us wrong then. Yeah, you did your own thing, and look at you now. Funny you should say that, because actually... What? Yeah, I fucking lied to you guys. Me owning all this stuff was total bullshit. And my entire social circle consists of children half my age. So there you have it. You were absolutely... right. I failed my career, and I'm sorry your kid is such a disappointment. This fucking video, man. So yeah, with newfound confidence, Gloria decides that now's the time to get out of her comfort zone and take some risks. And first on the agenda is an oldie but a goodie. RPing an anime confession. So, Gloria decides she's going to ask out that Kevin dude as part of her New Year's resolution. And of course she pussies out at first, but after some reassurance and pulling out some sick-ass moves at the town square, she pops the question. Hey man, you've never met me before, but I think you're really smoking hot, so can you date me, please? Nah, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, cool. Thank you for your time, sir.
So yeah, Kevin actually breaks the cartoon curse by being a decent guy. And Gloria comes out of it like, well, the worst case scenario happened, but I didn't fucking die, so maybe fear really was holding me back. After tonight, I think I can do anything. That's great. Wanna try going to that networking event next week? Shut up. Anyway, Gloria dicks around watching the Kardashians or something for a bit, but soon she gets her momentum back. She tries to do some farm work for the Greens one day so she doesn't feel like such a hopeless bum, but this latest endeavor at trying new things doesn't quite work out because apparently you can't just pick up 10 years worth of farming and agriculture in a single day. She cries again about how she's a useless piece of shit, which again, I've never felt that before. But then the Greens are like, us too, girl. Nobody here's buying our vegetables. Well, what's your marketing campaign? My what? You know, that random Twitter post that inexplicably goes viral so you can shamelessly promote yourself in the replies. We don't have that. Dude, I think I can help. So Gloria posts a picture of one of their sexy chickens, and that shit spreads like wildfire. She tricks out the Green family in uniforms, paints them up a new sign, and her social media strategies pay off because now everybody wants to come over and pretend they suddenly care about supporting small businesses. And Gloria's like, holy shit! I created something, and people paid me money for it. She backburners this epiphany for the next couple episodes though, while she takes a brief stint at Burger King and then Uber Eats. She also pays to take an unpaid animation internship at Totally Not Disney TVA, but since overworked and uncredited animators are always responsible for cartoons failing, she's like, maybe I'll try something else. Cue the season 2 finale. So, Gloria decides to go down the startup route and open up one of those hipster boutique cafes using France as a gimmick. And honestly, that's not the worst idea ever. I mean, she does have the tertiary knowledge about food service given her retail experience, and it provides an opportunity to apply her art skills too. Granted, she's still way underqualified, but at least it's piggybacking off pre-existing experience, know what I mean? Anyway, the Greens are all up for it, except for Grandma, who's like, "Bitch, you're too nice to be a business person. How you gonna rustle up the money for all this?" And Gloria's like, "Don't sweat it, Alice. I'ma go get a loan. Sure, I don't have any steady income, my credit history is garbage, and I have no business experience whatsoever. But that one Full House episode told me that as long as I have heart, the bank will give me a chance." So that doesn't work. But get this. Turns out the old big coffee place is unoccupied, and Gloria is all, "Dudes, it's so simple. If I want to run a profitable business, I just have to break the law." So they turn the building into an underground cafe that's just shitty enough to be high culture. And it goes exceptionally well for like 4 hours until the only cop in town busts them and hauls Gloria's ass straight to jail. Luckily, she's able to post bail using the totally legitimate profits she earned at the cafe. And Grandma's like, "Girl, you involved yourself in illegal practices, lied about your service, and got off with the slap on the wrist. Maybe you are a business person." And thus, Grandma uses a share of her retirement funds to invest in Gloria's new cafe. And for probably the first time in her 23 to 24 years of life, things are finally looking up for Miss Gloria Sato. Better end the season. And there you have it. Honestly, I think what impresses me the most is that Disney had the balls to approve a character like this. I mean, the mouse has always kind of perpetuated this notion that, barring some villain dude putting you down, your personal success is largely all on you. As long as you work hard, keep a positive attitude, and be kind to others, all of your dreams will come true. Gloria's whole existence is the antithesis. On paper, she does everything correct, has the right ambition, and is generally decent to everyone. And yet, Gloria is perpetually fucked over by circumstances that are just outside of her control. And it's not like a Squidward situation where your personal failings are quote-unquote deserved because you have a bad attitude. Sometimes the system sets you up to fail, and this is the closest thing Disney has come to admitting that they may actually be contributing to this failed system. But even then, Gloria isn't just some millennials power fantasy where they can just blame everything on society. Nor is she just a way for boomers to dunk all their grievances about young people onto. I'ma just say it. What makes Gloria relatable is that she's everything we're too afraid to admit about ourselves. She's critical about capitalism, yet is a total slut for corporate validation. She enjoys stupid reality shows while acknowledging the absurdity of manufactured drama. But most importantly, she's a stand-in for the audience who thought Cricket was an annoying little shit, but eventually warmed up to the little bugger. Gloria is first and foremost a character first, a relatable person second, with a refreshingly novel personality by Disney standards third. And yes, I think she's kind of hot, okay? Don't fucking blast me! I can't explain it, alright? It's just something about Gloria that like hits on my buttons, you know, like beyond any physical hotness quotient. And apparently she has a thing for guys with beanies, so I could feasibly marry her in another universe, right? Right? Thanks for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe to me. Subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and share with your friends. And I have a Patreon, so please support me there too. Something, words. Until then, stay tuned.